war is never just about who has the biggest army or the most advanced weapons. If that were the case, history would look very different. The reality is, wars are often won by those who understand strategy, terrain, and most importantly, time. When you're the underdog, you don't fight strength with strength. You fight with intelligence, patience, and the kind of determination that wears your enemy down until they break. The Viet Cong, they had the jungle. They became ghosts, hiding in tunnels, setting deadly traps, striking American patrols before vanishing into the trees. They understood something crucial. The US Army could win battles, but they couldn't win the war if they never knew where the enemy was. Every road was a potential ambush. Every village could be a trap. The more the US relied on brute force, bombing villages, burning forests, the more they turned the local population against them. In the end, it wasn't just bullets and bombs that won Vietnam. It was endurance. The Viet Cong knew that time was on their side. Fast forward to today, and you see the same tactics at play in Gaza. Completely outmatched in firepower, facing drones, jets, and a military with near limitless resources. But technology doesn't guarantee victory. Tunnel networks allow fighters to move unseen beneath the battlefield. Hit-and-run tactics turn an urban environment into a nightmare for any invading force. Most importantly, guerrilla forces in Gaza understand a brutal truth. You don't need to win every fight. You just need to make the cost of fighting unbearable for your enemy. The goal isn't to defeat the opponent in a conventional sense, but to force them into a war that is too costly, too bloody, and too exhausting to continue. The Soviet Union learned this the hard way in Afghanistan. They rolled in with tanks, helicopters, and thousands of troops, expecting a quick victory. But they weren't fighting an army, they were fighting an idea. The Mujahideen weren't afraid to lose battles. They had the mountains, the caves, and the loyalty of the people. They moved in small units, hit convoys, then disappeared into the rugged terrain. The more the Soviets fought back, the more they bled. A decade later, they withdrew, defeated not by firepower, but by an enemy that refused to die. And if that lesson wasn't clear enough, the US made the same mistake decades later, spending 20 years in Afghanistan only to leave in a rushed retreat. The mountains outlasted both superpowers. And let's not forget, the United States itself was born out of guerrilla warfare. The British Redcoats were the most disciplined, powerful military in the world. But when they marched into the American colonies, they were met with something they weren't prepared for: ambushes, skirmishes, and a militia that refused to fight the proper way. The American revolutionaries didn't line up in open fields to be shot at. They hit supply lines, sabotaged communication routes, and used local terrain to their advantage. The British Army thought they were fighting an organized force. Instead, they were fighting an idea of freedom, and you can't kill an idea with bullets. The truth is, wars aren't just about weapons. They're about patience, resilience, and understanding the limits of your enemy. Empires fall, not always because they are defeated in battle, but because they get tired of fighting. A small force, if determined enough, can drag a superpower into a war they simply cannot afford to keep fighting. And that's how the weak defeat the strong. If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on more deep dive military content like this. Stay sharp, and I'll see you in the next one.